Facebook and
Yeah, yeah. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready. I see a dream, that dream is green, and I don't mean material things. Come to the land, child, woman, and man, as we take up for what we stand. Better days and better nights, as we stand and unite. We're one and the same. Why is it so hard not to point and to blame? Better sheet, get our houses in order and we'll see the peace. There are steps that we must take if we wanna see.
I see my people rising, no more stopping us. A couple billion acres across America, us. The peace rose for the sake of us.
The sake of us, the sake of us.
I see my people rising, no more stopping us. A couple billion acres across America, us. The peace rose for the sake of us. No more feeling, telling me beneath. What a beautiful moment, and a sight I can't wait to see. Even if I miss it, at least I wasn't part of the mission. Changing lives of men, women, and children. All glory goes to He that causes us all to be. And if they're thinking we can, we show them that just as long as we stand. A monument, we the people can't be broken as long as we stay focused. I see my people rising, no more stopping us. A couple billion acres across America, us. The peace rose for the sake of us. For the sake I see my people rising, no more stopping us. A couple billion acres across America, us. The peace rose for the sake of us. I see my people rising, yeah.
all right. Peace to everyone. Peace to all of you that are tuning in or watching back. Shalom to all of you on YouTube, on Facebook, on TikTok, wherever you are seeing this. I pray that the Supreme King is blessing and keeping those of you that are walking within righteousness and those of you that are pressing to do so. And I pray that those of you that aren't, that this can provoke thought and change. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Isti, if you can hear me, just a quick question for you if you are present. Everything is shared on Facebook too. Is it still showing that it's locked or is it better now? Just getting confirmation.
That is private.
Okay. So we're going to have to leave Facebook alone for a minute until I could figure this out. I don't know why it's doing it. So when you went live, it didn't show private. I don't understand. All right. Well, it's not meant for Facebook. All right, let's get to it, you all. So for the past week, we have been in Proverbs. And this whole segment that we're doing is called The Writings of Wisdom. And the reason we started in Proverbs because every individual, every person that we know of that understands the Bible has some knowledge as it pertains to the Bible. When they hear wisdom, they think of Proverbs. When they hear wisdom, they think of Solomon. All right. Culturally speaking, biblically speaking, when it comes to the righteous men and or women, wisdom came from the writings in general. Outside of when you think of the Torah and the prophets and Nebi'im, wisdom was supposed to be demonstrated, displayed, and written down for every generation in every moment, exilic moments, things of that nature. You would see these writings being written. So even here in 2026, a lot of us, we go by the scriptures. A lot of people, different sections, sects. You have Christians, you have Israelites, you have Muslims, you have Jewish people, you have all these individuals. They go off of it in some capacity, have an understanding in some capacity. So what we're going to do is we're going to try to take from it, use what's applicable, which all of it is applicable. And also while we're doing that, learn context, get into the minds of those that are writing, see how they were in the different times when they started, when they ended. More specifically, today is going to be slow-mo. It's going to be Solomon because we're still in Proverbs. So I'm not going to take too long. Well, with the summary, right? We're about to read a few points that I had wanted to really tackle before we get into chapter 4. All right. Let me put this up on the screen for those of you that's on YouTube right now. Shalom to you all. Make sure that you share it. We are back. The writings of wisdom. All right. So I'm going to let you all, you know what? I'm going to keep it on chapter 4 because I don't want to harp on it. Get your literature, get your Bibles, whatever you have in front of you, because I'm just going to tackle these verses and then we're going to go into chapter 4 together. But right now, we're not going to be together. All right. So you need to have your own book. So Proverbs chapter 1, right? Here's the verses I want to highlight. So verse 3 says, to receive instruction in wise behavior, righteousness, justice, and integrity. Make sure you highlight that part because a lot of us, we receive instruction in whatever sect that you're a part of, Christianity, if you're Israelite, wherever you are, a lot of people, majority or many people, I want to say majority, are not living what they're reading. Majority of us are not living what we're reading, right? So it says to receive instruction. So we hear what's told to us. We hear what's presented to us, but it says in wise behavior, right? So how you move should be in wisdom, and you should receive what's being given to you in wisdom, because if you're not receiving it in wisdom and in wise behavior, then you're going to throw it to the wayside. You're going to put it to the left somewhere. You're not going to live it. You're not going to do it, right? When you think of Bnei Israel or the Israelites, not all of them, because there was some that was upright, righteous, some was called blameless, and some you won't even see anything pertaining to sin when it comes to them. But the majority of us back then, we did not operate in the instruction and with wise behavior. Hence why the prophets was sent to bring what was already there. Just like today, many people are not following instructions or receiving instructions in wise behavior. This is verse 3 of chapter 1 of Proverbs. In wise behavior, righteousness, justice or balance, and integrity, especially not integrity. We're not doing it. Okay, that's the verse I want to speak on. Verse 5, a wise person will hear and increase in learning, and a person of understanding will acquire wise counsel. How can you acquire wise counsel if you're moving along? Right? So highlight verse 3 and highlight verse 5. Take that time. Highlight verse 3 and highlight verse 5. Let it marinate. Or my Ab-in-law here say ruminate. Right? Let it marinate within you. Those that's true and have a sincere heart and serving the Supreme King. Let those two. All right, we're going to jump down to verse 10. Proverbs 1 and 10. We're going to go. I'm going to pull it up on screen, chapter 4, but I'm trying to hurry up and go through it before we get to chapter 4 because I don't want to be too long, but we might go to about 10:30 maybe tonight, maybe. All right, so it says, verse 10, Proverbs chapter 1, my son, y'all listening? If sinners entice you, do not consent. If they say, come with us, let's lie in wait for blood. This doesn't mean you're going to be unaliving people, but any harm, slander, any of these things that you put on people that you claim as your neighbor or other individuals that's on the path that you're on, then that's bringing blood towards them, right? Blood is just a life, right? Life is in the blood. So if you're harming individuals and you're causing harm on them, that's still talking about this, right? But the part that I want you to pay attention to is verse 10 and 11. My son, if sinners entice you, do not consent. We're taught that everyone is sinners. I'm always going to harp on that. Remember, too, this is Solomon. Solomon is saying this. If sinners entice you, do not consent. So that shows a separation. That shows a distinction in groups of people. That's what it shows. They understand that, hey, you don't want to be doing that. Why don't you want to do that? Because all of our literature says and shows that the Supreme King will not deal with sinners. But yet today they teach that everyone's sinners. That's not to say the Most High wants all to perish. That's not what I'm saying. Everyone has the ability to start being obedient. All right, jump down to verse 22. Second part of 22, Proverbs chapter 1. Second part of chapter 22. I'll read the first part. How long, you naive ones, will you love simplistic thinking? How long will scoffers delight themselves in scoffing? Right? That right there, we could stop on that. Many of us are scoffers. Many of us are that. But we don't understand that this is one of the biggest things that cause destructions in assemblies, homes, organizations, and it removes you from being close with the Supreme King Yah, being a scoffer. Let's keep going. I won't harp on that. And fools hate knowledge. What is actual knowledge that this is talking about? This ain't talking about all types of knowledge, even though the Supreme King is the Elohim and the power and the king of all knowledge. But the knowledge that this is talking about is what was given towards obedience. And we're going to read that too. All counsel is not wise. All information is not wise. So in this situation right here, verse 22, it says, and fools hate knowledge, right? The fool says that there is no Elohim, Psalms chapter 14. So this fool that is equating to is talking about the knowledge that the Supreme King gives those who claim to serve him, who claims to be a man or a man or woman of Elohim. That's what it's referencing. It says, turn to my rebuke. Behold, I will pour out my spirit on you, and I will make my words known to you, because I called and you refused. I stretched out my hand and no one paid attention. So this is talking about wisdom right here, right? Let's go ahead and jump to 28 because we got to get to chapter 4. That's when we actually going to start today, chapter 4. But I'm giving you a summary of what we went through before these last 3 days, and which is every Monday and Wednesday, by the way, you all. But these are the highlights. The highlights is talking about wise behavior when receiving instruction. The highlight is talking about if sinners entice you, do not consent to them. Right? Now we're going into scoffers. That's a highlight. And now we're going to people that's refusing the wisdom that the Supreme King has laid out. That's a highlight. Now, verse 28 says, then they will call on me, but I will not answer. Who is he talking about? The fools. These people that reject the information that I told them, I'm giving them, that I'm instructing them, not suggesting, that I'm instructing them so they can live out a life of good behavior and obedience to me. So since you did not listen to me, watch this. This is a part that we do not utilize in my community often or other communities that go off of the scriptures. It says, then they will call on me, but I will not answer. We all believe that the Supreme King is hearing all of us simply because, hey, our bills is paid. We're able to get some money from work. All these things that we truly desire. We think that we're getting our prayers answered and all these different things simply because of that. And that's not true. I know it's hard to believe, but it's not true. Well, he has to hear me. These things happen and I overcame it. Well, somebody in your life or somebody that knows you may be praying on your behalf. These are things that we got to consider. But it says, then they will call on me, but I will not answer. They will seek me diligently, but will not find me, because they hated knowledge and did not choose the fear of the Supreme King Yah. All right. Verse 31 says, so they shall eat of the fruit of their own way and be filled with their own schemes. So they're not hearing me. They're not listening to me. They're refusing me. So I'm not going to hear the things that they say. But what they're going to do, they're going to eat of the fruit of their own way. What the way that they think is, they're going to think that that is attributed to the Supreme King, and be filled with their own schemes. They're filled with it. Filled with the Spirit, right? No, they're filled with their own schemes. Let's go ahead and go. Let's keep going. We got to get to chapter 4. All right. So this is chapter 2 right here. Highlight these points. Highlight these points. First point, most importantly, was do not consent with sinners. Stay away from them. Stay away from them. It says, my son, if you will receive my words, chapter 2, verse 1, and treasure my commandments within you, make your ear attentive to wisdom, incline your heart to understanding. Highlight those. All right. Verse 4, if you seek her as silver, what is it talking about? Wisdom. And search of her as for hidden treasures. Then you will understand the fear of the Supreme King. Why? Because you are searching after that more than anything that you just want and desire. Everybody wants money. Everybody wants to feel secure. We tend to go after that more than we'll go after the Supreme King all the time. Most people today do that. And we'll say something about the Supreme King Yah. We'll say something about the Creator only when it makes us feel good or we need to feel good. But we're not going into it in this manner. All right. And discover the knowledge of Elohim. So once you do that, you will actually discover it. Right. Let's go ahead and jump to 21. Highlight 21 and 22 of Proverbs chapter 2. We're trying to hurry up and get to Proverbs chapter 4. That's actually what we're beginning today or this evening. 21 says, for the upright will live in the land. Watch this. And the blameless will remain in it. The perfect will remain in it. The blameless, the perfect will remain in it. All right. Why isn't that talked about heavily in any of our communities? Why isn't that pushed so much in any of our communities at all? It's not. To be blameless, to be perfect. Why did Solomon understand these two things? Do not go around with sinners, nor do you consent with them. He understood that. And then now he's saying that for the upright will live in the land and the blameless will remain in it. The perfect will remain in it. I know what Solomon did. I understand how he went back. We're doing this on purpose. We're reading the context on purpose because we're going to travel to Ecclesiastes 7. We're going to travel to that today. We're also going to travel to 1 Kings 11. 1 Kings 11. We're going to travel to that. And why are we doing that? Because it's something dealing with context of the transition of the mind that Solomon had and where he ended up at, and even where he alludes to calling himself. And it's like he's coming right back around to where he started and advised his sons not to do. We can learn from that. And we need to stop running away from the very thing he said in the beginning, which is do not go around sinners nor consent with them. So that opens a question. Why are we being taught that everyone's sinners? And then we're reading that and the blameless will remain in it, the perfect. Wait a minute. So people can be perfect and blameless? We have to question these things and understand what it really means. All right, we're going to go to chapter 3. These are all highlights that I want you to have from verse 1 all the way to verse 6. Right? My son, do not forget my teaching, but have your heart comply with my commandments. For length of days, Exodus chapter 20, and years of life and peace, they will add to you. Right? So not only is it saying, he's saying a thing under your mother and your father, because for length of days, X, Y, and Z, But he also saying, look, I'm teaching you these things as well, not just the commandments that we're supposed to go by, but everything that I'm telling you. Learn, grow in it, because it's going to be the best for you when you get older, right? Let's keep going. It says, do not let kindness and truth leave you. We need to understand that part. We understand people are going to be upset sometimes. They may be mad. They may even react a certain way. But what level are you doing it, right? It's telling you to do not allow kindness and truth to leave you. Bind them around your neck. Make sure it's on you at all times. So you will find favor. It says, write them on the tablet of your heart. So you will find favor and a good reputation in the sight of Elohim and man. I know I read this already. We're getting back to verse chapter 4. I know I read this already, but I have to make sure those that have not seen and may not go back to the other ones that we did understand we have to highlight these parts. Why is he saying the same thing that we read about when dealing with Samuel? When it says that he found favor, right, and good reputation with man and the Supreme King Yah before he even knew, right, before he was even called on by the Supreme King Yah. So we should understand that it's good to have favor and good reputation with men. And when men, I'm talking about everybody, the people that's dealing with your communities and stuff like that. It's very good to have that. And he understood that culturally. Why are we removing that today? All right. Now we get into the part. It says, so you will find favor. It says, trust in the Supreme King with all your heart and do not lean on your own understanding. In all your ways, acknowledge him. We spoke on this the other day. In all your ways, acknowledge him. It's not just talking about, praise the Most High or singing and all that. In every way that we move, we should acknowledge him. How we move and how we act and how we're thinking in every way. Right? Trust not on your understanding. Don't lean on it. Why? Because I just told you, I gave you the antidote. I told you what not to do, who not to be around. I told you what's going to hinder you. This is what Solomon is saying, but pay attention of everything that he's saying. Now we're about to go ahead and jump to, we're not in chapter 4 yet. Chapter 3, verse 22. Right? These are points that I want you to highlight. All right? My son, 21, see that they do not escape from your sight. Comply with sound wisdom. Why isn't he just saying wisdom? Everybody always talks about wisdom, but why is it saying sound wisdom? Right? Like sound doctrine? Because there's a lot of teachings, but all teachings are not sound. There's a lot of wisdom that we say, but all wisdom is not sound wisdom. Everyone is not as wise as we deem them to be sometimes, and we get manipulated, duped by many individuals because we don't even understand how we're supposed to be moving. The dynamic when it comes to this book, we use it the way we want to, but we do not use it in the ways that it was given. So he says, sound wisdom and discretion, and they will be life to your soul and adornment to your neck. Why is everything being spoken of to be on you? All these different things, wisdoms and adornment on your neck, right, and on your heart, because it needs to stay on you. Many people remove it from them. Once we leave Shabbat or whatever day that you do it on, whatever service you all keep, which I really recommend, really going off what the scriptures say. But when we leave these places, when we leave Bible study, when we leave all this stuff, we take it right off and we put it to the side. But he's telling you to wear it, to put it on yourself. Then you will walk in your way securely. Why? Because it's on you. It's protecting you. And your foot will not stumble. Right? Verse 32, chapter 3. We're getting to chapter 4. This is quicker than what I thought, which means we're going to have about an hour, which I'm grateful. All right. We're at 9:22 right now. So I'm moving at a good pace. Chapter 3, verse 32 says, for the devious are an abomination to the Supreme King Yah. Highlight that. Study that. Find out what it means. We often talk about how wise Solomon is. He was the wisest man at this point. That's what we say. I'm not in disagreement to the wisdom that he had at all. But if we're going to say that, we need to marinate on what he's saying. We also got to understand it contextually, which we're going to find out. Because again, he said something about sinners, not being around them, don't consent to them. He said something about blameless people, right? Keep that in mind. Verse 32 says, for the devious are an abomination to the Supreme King Yah, but he is intimate. Who is he? The Supreme King Yah, the Most High. He is intimate with the upright. The curse of the Supreme King is on the house of the wicked, but he blesses the home of the righteous. Wait a minute, he blessing me. That's what people think. He blessing me. I got a personal relationship with him. That's my friend. That's my father. That's your creator. But are you operating as a son, a servant, a friend? The best way to know if you are that is to study those who he called that. If you are living in the way of those individuals that he called upright, perfect, friend, son of the Most High, son of man, all these different terms that we use and we say, if we call ourselves any of that, we need to find out if we're matching the very people that he called that in our literature. All right. Now we're about to go to chapter 4. This is where we're supposed to be. I can close this book and I could pull it up on the screen, but I'll probably keep it open. Let me put it up on the screen for you all. Take this time, if you have not done so, to come to House of Balance Network on YouTube, you all. Come subscribe to our channel. It's a lot of stuff we're going to be bringing out, and I plan to tonight to show you all a few things and options that you have if you are interested in the House of Balance Assembly in any capacity, not to join just yet, but if you're interested, we're going to show you we have a separate place for those individuals. Yes, we come online. We have House of Balance Assembly Facebook page. We have House of Balance book club group on Facebook. But this place that I'm going to bring out later is an intimate place for those that's truly interested in what we're doing and want to decide later if they decide to get in a covenant with us as an assembly. All right, let me pull this up for you all. We got some things to get through. I'm gonna try my best to get through it. All right. All right. Here we go. So pay attention to this. We're going to read through it. If I feel that it's redundant, which is nothing wrong with redundancy when it comes to this wisdom and the supreme and the laws, commandments, and structure of the Supreme King Yah, because that's what he does. That's how we, it becomes second nature to us. It has to be spoken often. But if I feel that, I might jump to the points I would really want to bring out. Verse 1 says, listen, my sons, to the instruction of a father, and pay attention so that you may gain understanding. For I give you good teaching. Wait a minute. Right? Why is he saying good teaching? We have all of these things being taught to us today, and we be like, man, this person teaching good. But what is the difference between teaching and good teaching? What's the difference between wisdom and sound wisdom? It's important. For I give you good teaching, and you will hope and think that a father will do that. But we do understand that there are fathers and mothers that do not give their children good teaching. And we see that through what we recognize in the communities. Now, there's always exceptions to the rules, right? Sometimes you could do all that you can do, and your child will still end up abandoning, right? It says, do not abandon my instruction, abandoning your instruction. The difference, though, with this versus what many of us are a part of, these are individuals in this time when they were all close-knit. The biggest influence is always those around your children. And we send our children to schools, other schools, no private schools, of people within your community that have the same theology and ideology, we put them away with other theologies and other ideologies and all this music and all these other children of different moral compasses, right? So we have to oversaturate them with something that can combat that. And the probability of them abandoning it will be less. It'll be greater that they'll stay amongst it and return and stay within it, because now you have something combating what they're a part of. That's what we're failing at. Many of us as parents, or those of you that are parents, that's why you're failing. Who do you have your children around? Do you have other families that have the same moral compass as you? Similar theology, similar ideology. Do you have that for your children? If you do not, that is why they will abandon what you're teaching them. It's inevitable. So when it says raise up a child in the way it should go and it will not depart, one of the ways to raise them up is to have them around situations that will almost guarantee, right, that they will not depart. We cannot utilize and take scripture and apply it to today without doing the things that they did back then that was righteous and maintain community structure. All right, let's keep going. So in chapter 4, verse 2, it says, "For I give you good teaching. Do not abandon my instruction. When I was a son to my father, tender and the only son in sight of my mother, he taught me and said to me, let your heart take hold of my words. Keep my commandments and live." He's saying it often, right? He's putting these things in place often. He's not just allowing everything else around the child to be its teacher. Life is teaching your children. Life is teaching your children. So other children is teaching your children, other teenagers, other young adults is teaching your children. Why? They are around them more than they're around you. Even if they're at your home, you're allowing them to be on games where they're talking and dealing with other children more than likely. All of this stuff matters. Those of you that's just coming in, please make sure that you subscribe, like, and share this. We have breezed through and summarized chapter 1 through 3. I had them highlight a few things. One of the main things I wanted them to highlight is when Solomon, because we got to go in context, we will end up in 1 Kings 11. We will end up in Ecclesiastes chapter 2 and chapter 7 real briefly, because we see that Solomon told his son, do not be around sinners, nor consent with them. Wait a minute, why is he saying that? And all of us today in society, the Christianity is teaching everyone sinners. All right, we brought that out. Then he said that the blameless individuals will be in the land. Chapter 2. Right? We have to bring it all down contextually. Chapter 3, he was building his son up, giving him the commandments, giving him structure, giving him all these things. And then when you got in chapter 3, it says to lean not on your own understanding that everyone uses. Right? But he said it because I gave you all the proper understanding to serve the Supreme King. Now we're in chapter 4. I wanted to go back and bring all that up. It says, let your heart take hold of my words, keep my commandments and live. Right? He said, keep my commandments. And his commandments should be in alignment with what he saw before him. Right? He said, your reputation, you should worry about your reputation before the Most High and before men. He took that from Samuel. Everything that we are doing today, if you are a man and or a woman of the Supreme King and you believe yourself to be it, we should be going back, taking from what happened then and applying it today to today. Even the exilic moments. That's great advice on how you are to move today. It says, acquire wisdom. Acquire understanding. Do not forget, nor turn away from my words, the words of my mouth. Do not abandon her. Who is the her? Wisdom. And she will guard you. Love her, and she will watch over you. How many of us love wisdom? Love it. The way that we can know if a person loves wisdom is how they operate in behavior. The way that we know how an individual loves wisdom is how they operate in behavior. That's the number one thing across the scriptures. Yes, finances is important. All those things are important. And someone that's wise, if they know they're not that great in finances, they're going to attach themselves to someone that is. That's still wisdom and learn. But the number one thing in the scripture is talking about behavior and serving the supreme King Yah. That's the number one thing. Everything else comes after. But most people will disagree with me on that. We about to get our bag. We got to get this bag. How can you help somebody if you ain't good with your money? Well, you can help people in many ways, even if you're not rich. Your word can change someone's life. There are many people that have not received any money and help for somebody, and they have stopped all the things that was devices for them. An alcoholic, a crackhead, all these different things change simply because of a word. And that word led to the desire of putting the action with it. But it started off with a word that changed your life. And it wasn't money. Money is important. Don't let what I'm saying confuse you. I don't want to confuse nobody. I'm not saying that. All right, verse 7. We got to keep moving, y'all. I got some time, though. It's 9:34. The beginning of wisdom is acquire wisdom. Wow. The beginning of wisdom is acquire wisdom. Anyone that acquires it, like that's wise right there. And with all your possessions, acquire understanding. Prize her, and she will exalt you. She will honor you if you embrace her. All right, people say, I'm the prize. He's the prize. She's the prize. You know what? Wisdom is the prize. Wisdom is the prize because everything after that follows, and it creates order. And of course, a lot of us, we're going to be learning different things and growing in different areas, right? We're not going to get everything down. No one has everything down. And that's the importance of community. That's the importance of building, because you might have this man, this woman, this family who can give you pieces that's going to empower, not empower, but I'm going to say empower, or strengthen you in the areas that you need strength. Verse 9, she will place on your head a garland of grace. She will present you with a crown of beauty. I want to make sure that I don't want to read all of this. Let's keep going. Listen, my son, and accept my sayings, and the years of your life will be many. I have instructed you in the way of wisdom. I have led you in upright paths. Right? This is a good parent. When you walk, your steps will not be hampered. And if you run, you will not stumble. All right. We're going to go ahead and go to, let's go ahead and read 4 more verses in this chapter. 5 more verses in this chapter, you all. It says, take hold of instruction, do not let go. Guard her, for she is your life. Why? What's your life? I thought your family was your life. I thought your wife was your life. I thought your husband was your life. Wisdom is your life. That's what it's saying. And who gives us wisdom? The Supreme King Yah. We operate in wisdom, then we'll understand the Supreme King Yah. It says, do not enter the path of the wicked, and do not proceed in the way of evil people. I say this all the time. These terms, when we're reading wicked, we won't call ourselves this. You won't find Christians calling themselves wicked. You won't find a lot of people in my community calling themselves wicked. You won't find people in our community, my community, calling themselves evil. And you won't find many people in a Christian church calling themselves evil. That should make us think right there. Why is no one evil? Why is no one wicked? I'm not talking about the people on in our community that just call people wicked because they don't like them or evil. I'm talking about based on what the scriptures is talking about. Let's keep going. Let's jump down to verse let's jump down to verse 20. Make sure you all read this yourself. I don't want to go through every verse. I won't do this too often, but I'm trying to get to something this tonight. All right, let's go down to verse 20. All right, because these verses right here, we hop right over this. The way of the wicked is like darkness. We're not going to call ourselves wicked. I think that we should. I think if we are wicked and you know you're wicked and you got evil ways, I think that you should call yourself that, because if you have a heart to change, right, it says something about you. It shows who you truly are and who you're becoming. It also puts you in the house of individuals in Ezekiel 18 who shifted, right? Left their wickedness or their unrighteousness, and now they have a new start. The Supreme King don't even remember what you did. What you did is gone. The distance of remembrance is as far this way and as far this way. I'm paraphrasing. Fresh start. No matter what anyone says about you or to you, doesn't matter. A lot of people try to bring up your past. Me and Chief Prince Abulin talks about that. They'll try to bring it up. And the person you are today is nowhere near who you were then. And you may not have been a horrible person then, but people always want to find a aha moment every time because it makes them feel better. They'll say something like holier than thou, when scripturally that term is not what people teach or use today. Holier than thou are the individuals who are not righteous, who are not righteous, that are deeming themselves holier than thou. That whole phrase that be thrown out and we're saying is out of context. That's another topic, though. So don't allow anyone, if you have changed who you are, if you are truly close to the Supreme King now, you're growing and you're strengthening yourself and your old ways is gone, don't let anyone in your past try to bring it back up to you. Respectfully, of course. You say what you got to say. They don't want to believe you. They don't want to listen to you. They want to keep, okay, you know what? Respectfully, I'm going to go right. I'm going to go left. I'm going this way because I'm not who I was there. All right, let's keep reading. Verse 20. My son, pay attention to my words. Incline your ear to my sayings. They are not to escape from your sight. They should be before you always, you all. That's why the Torah always talks about speak daily, right? It tells you to meditate on the word, tells you to talk about it, tells you to study it throughout the day. That's before your sight throughout the day. They are not to escape your sight. Keep them in the midst of your heart, for they are life to those who find them and healing to all their bodies. So wait a minute. It's talking about wisdom. Then it said, my words. Wait. It says, pay attention to my words. What's his words? His words is the commandments. His words is the laws of the Most High. It says, for they are life. But today, people are telling you that it's not life, it's death. They're mixing up what laws is being spoken about. And they're trying to remove the things that actually is life. It says, for they are life to those who find them. Many of them are not trying to find them. So if you're not trying to find them, then to you it's not life. And that's okay. Because we have to move like Joshua moved. When he says, you know what, me and my home, we're going to serve the Supreme King. You can choose not to. If you don't think it's life, if it's evil to you, isn't that what Joshua said? If this is evil to you, cool. But it says, and healing to all their body. Watch over your heart with all diligence. Here we go. From now, for from it flow the springs of life. Rid yourself of deceitful of a deceitful mouth. These are things, these are the small things that we forget on the path. I'm talking to the people in my community now. In this path, we forget these small things, which are really the weightier things. We forget these small things, which are really the weightier matters, the weightier things. Oh, you know what? I go to Shabbat, Sabbaths. I go to Shabbat, Sabbath. You know, I keep the commandments. I keep these things. I go to the Moedim, the appointed times. But you keep a deceitful mouth. You have a devious speech, right? Separating yourself from what we supposed to be doing. Devious speech. You influence others to start slandering other people. Devious speech. He says, keep devious speech far from you. And let your eyes look directly ahead and let your gaze be fixed straight in front of you. Let nothing get in front of you that does not belong. Stay focused. Watch the path of your feet, and all your ways will be established. Do not turn to the right or the left. Turn your foot from evil. All right, let's go to chapter 5. For those that's listening, if you have any questions, any comments, any thoughts, go ahead. Put it in the chat. We would love to read it for those that see and for those to hear that's on TikTok. They may want to hear what your thoughts is, your comments, or your questions. If I'm able to answer the question, I will. If I don't have the answer now, I'll have it next time I see you. It's not a problem. We never act like we know it all, but the things that we do know, we definitely know. All right. Let's go right into it. Chapter 5, you all. Now we're about to get into something. Shlomo or Solomon is speaking in a way. He's giving him all the right things to do. He's showing him all the ways to stay or become blameless. He's showing you all the people who to stay away from. He even said sinners. By the way, I'm going to always harp on that every chance I get, because we have to combat what's being taught. All right. He says, my son, pay attention to my wisdom. Incline your ear to my understanding, so that you may maintain discretion and your lips may comply with knowledge. Wait a minute. Your lips may comply with knowledge. When the scripture is talking about knowledge, a lot of times, I want to say most, but I'll say a lot of times to be safe, right? It's referring to what was given by the Supreme King to his messengers for the people to do. So he says, and your lips may comply, so that you may maintain discretion and your lips may comply with knowledge. You can know how knowledgeable someone is by the way they speak. You can know how knowledgeable someone is by how discreet they are, in what moments they're discreet. You can know those things. Ishti, Yafati, if you are available, can you do me a favor and share this YouTube on Facebook and let them know that we're live? I should have did that before or asked you to do it for me until we get this Facebook working. Toda Rabah. Appreciate you. So it says, so that you may maintain discretion and your lips may comply. And make sure you let them know we're live if you can too. Toda Rabah. And your lips may comply with knowledge. It says, for the lips of an adulteress drip honey, and her speech is smoother than oil. Man, we're about to get into something heavy right now, y'all. We're already in chapter 5, so we're going to have some time to go to the other chapters, which is not a lot, right? We're only doing 4 and 5 today, and I'm going to take us somewhere else, dealing with Shlomo or Solomon. It says, for the lips of an adulteress drip honey, and her speech is smoother than oil. But in the end, she is bitter as wormwood, sharp as a two-edged sword, right? A woman of adulteress, right? Her feet go down to death. Her steps take hold of Sheol. She does not ponder the path of life. Right? What's the path of life? Thus says the Supreme King. Some people are reckless with the life, but this life is referencing the things that the Supreme King has given us. She does not ponder the path of life. Shalom, shalom, Chief Prince. And also shalom, shalom, Geber, Amar, Zakah. And anyone else that's tuned in right now. Let us know you're here, you know. But she does not ponder the path of life. She's not worried about that. Her ways are unstable. She does not know it. This is important because I know this is talking about the woman, but I want to say that men wise too, right? All of us in our community, those who are outside of our community as well. It says her ways are unstable. She does not know it. A lot of our ways are unstable, and we don't even know it. And when you think about it, again, when you're looking and you're reading, the majority of the scripture is dealing with behavior. So these ways that it's talking about is dealing with the behavior of the person. That's what it's dealing with, you all. It's dealing with our behavior. And when you think of the word perfect or blameless, it's dealing with the behavior as it pertains to the instruction given. So when we're reading that, people are perfect. People are operating, and you don't see anything about sin pertaining to them, which there are a lot of individuals, you all. And I know people want to leave and throw stones on me when I say that. But you can get some of what I'm saying in the book that we release. No one is perfect. The lies that Christianity gave us. But let's continue. Her ways are unstable. She does not know it. Many of our ways are unstable and we do not know it, but we still deem ourselves to be children of the Supreme King. Servants, daughters, sons. Verse 7 says, now then, my sons. This word should be banim, so this is going to be dealing with legacy. These are older individuals. This is not Yeladim. At this point, my sons, banim, listen to me and do not turn away from the words of my mouth. When he's speaking like this, he's talking about legacy at this point. When we see that word banim, right? That's the legacy. That's dealing with something in generations upon generations. I'm thinking about how you're moving and how you're supposed to be. B'nai Yisrael, children of Israel, right? That word is attached to legacy. Yeladim, Yeled, Yalda is attached to a child. Okay, I want to give y'all a little bit of Hebrew today. Let's keep going. It says, keep your way far from her and do not go near the door of her house. Wait a minute. Oh, we ain't even at verse 20 yet. Wait till we get to verse 20. But he's telling you to stay away from an adulterous woman. I'm telling you all to stay away from an adulterous man and woman. But it's so interesting why he's saying this. He's saying this because he's talking to his sons, by the way. I'm sure he said something to his daughters too. But it's a reason he's talking to his sons. All right, let's keep going. Otherwise, you will give your vigor to others and your years to the cruel one. And strangers will be filled with your strength, and your hard-earned possessions will go to the house of a foreigner. It's so many lessons in this right here. Some of us are foreign, right? To the ways of the Supreme King is foreign to us. Those of you all, not us, who are Christians that's watching this or watching this back, even those that's in my community, the ways of the Supreme King is foreign to many of us. And he's talking to his son right now. So he's telling them something. If we can extract from this and apply it to today, a lot of us, we are choosing women, men. We're choosing women that we should not be choosing. Same for you, women. You're choosing men you shouldn't be choosing. But let me stay on the men right now. You're choosing women that you should not be choosing. They're foreign to the lifestyle. They're foreign, or the idea of the Supreme King and obedience is foreign to them. And what happens when you mess up? What happens when you get a divorce? What happens when you have a child with them? What happens? All your hard-earned possessions will go to the house of a foreigner. I'm not laughing, but I am. Because this wisdom is way back then, thousands of years ago, and it's still here today. It's still here today. But wait till we're about to get to the meat right now, you all. I got enough time. Here we go. Verse 11 says, and you will groan in the end when your flesh and your body are consumed. You're going to groan. You're going to be complaining, all that stuff. But you knew not to do it. I told you not to do it. I'm telling you who not to talk to. I'm telling you what not to do. I'm telling you to stay away from sinners. I'm telling you that if you move right, the blameless will be in the land. The perfect will be in the land. I'm telling you that you can be it. This is Solomon saying this. But yet the people of today, society, the church fathers, those that put you in theological schools, all these different things, they're teaching you that you're a sinner. They're pulling you further away from the Supreme King than you think you are. You think you okay. I'm good from one person, and that one person told you, hey, you're going to do better than me. That one person told you, according to the passages, according to the Hellenistic scriptures, he told you to be perfect. But you're going to listen to those individuals who took our literature and say, you know what, I don't like this part. Let me put this part in here because I don't want them. We're not doing that. We don't believe in that. Nobody can be that. Nobody can do that. We allowed them to teach us this, but yet we're seeing Solomon is agreeing with what we're teaching you all today. So he either bipolar or is context with what he said. I'm going to go there for you all, even though this is in my book. Not some of this is actually not in my book, to be honest with you. And I forgot all about it when I put the book out. But it's some parts in there that's going to bring out that argument that everyone uses. So I'm not going to give it all away to you all. Not right now. It's too much to give away. 200-some page book. All right, I'm trying to see where I'm at. Chapter 5. Let's keep reading. It says, and you will groan in the end when your flesh and your body are consumed. And you say, how I hated instruction. And my heart disdainfully rejected rebuke. I did not listen to the voice of my teachers. Do you know how many of us, and Chief Principal, I know you can relate to me on this if you're still here. Say this right in here. I did not listen to the voice of my teachers, nor incline my ear to my instructors. But what you all got to understand is this. I'm not going to just read Proverbs and leave it as it is, because there's someone in the world that's going to say, wait a minute. Isn't this the same person that had all these different foreign wives and the Most High was mad at him? So I'm supposed to listen to him and then he didn't end up doing it? That's why we're about to go to that other part. Because what you will find out about those who serve the Supreme King, you're going to have those that was consistent their entire time of servitude. You're going to have those that were unrighteous, that weren't following, and then they ended up following, right? And the Most High blessed them with a lot of years. You're going to find individuals who was upright, perfect, or blameless. You're going to find individuals that were, you won't find any sin with them. Why isn't this taught in church? Why isn't this even taught on a large scale in our community as Bnei Yisrael? Why? Because we are actually most of us is actually being disobedient to the one we deem extremely high. And I ain't even talking about the Supreme King, Yah. We don't believe what he said. Well, no, not we. Most of us do not believe what he said. Why? Because we don't believe that we can do this. We don't understand context or culture. We don't understand that there's going to be people who are going to be disobedient, that's going to be rebellious. There's going to be people who's going to start a certain way, and then they're going to end a certain way, and then they're going to come back to that way probably, or they're not going to come back to that way. There's going to be people who's not going to start this way, and then their whole life is going to change, and they're going to be the most perfect individuals that you ever met in your life. Why? Because this is what our literature is about. But you know who changed it? Christianity. They'll come up with all these huge, big words to throw you off. All these soundbite scriptures to throw you off. I'm not talking about the Christians. I'm talking about the Christianity system that was in place, put in place to make you to produce mediocrity, if I said that right. Many of us are operating in a spirit of mediocrity. Mediocrity, right? Mediocre. Somebody go correct me. That's how we moving. But yet y'all claim you believe in someone that has told you you're going to do greater. You don't believe in them. You believe in him being able to remove your work, integrity. That's what you believe. That's what many of the people who only utilize him when he told you to utilize other things, who only utilize these getting stuck in the traffic jam of mediocrity. There you go. I'm not trying to attack anyone. I'm trying to encourage you, and I'm trying to utilize the very person that they use to show you and say, see, you can't do this, but he's saying something different with what we're reading right now. So somebody's wrong. He's either a liar, he's either bipolar, or he's not understood correctly. All right. That was verse 13. We're going to jump to verse 20 and 21 and then 23, and we're done with Proverbs, but we're going to go over to 1 Kings 11. We're only going to read a few verses, and then we're going to go over to Ecclesiastes. We're only going to read a couple verses, and we're done for this evening. But I have to go there for those people who may think and say, yeah, he was talking big noise this right here, but then he failed. So I have to go there, and I have to explain something. All right. Verse 20. It says, for why should you, my son, be exhilarated with an adulteress and embrace the breasts of a foreigner? Oh, my goodness. What did we just read? He says, for why should you, my son, be exhilarated with an adulteress and embrace the breasts of a foreigner? I don't know the mind state of Solomon outside of what the scripture shows and how the Supreme King looked at him when he first started. What I know is that he was a person that had a super great heart for the Supreme King, especially in the beginning, right? Until we get to 1 Kings 11. But he had that heart. So he believed wholeheartedly what he was saying, what he was teaching, and what he taught was sound wisdom. It was sound knowledge. Hold on, let me move this over. All right. What he was teaching was sound knowledge, sound wisdom. But as we can see, and some of you already know the history in this specific subject, where he's going to end up going. But he says, for why should you, my son, be exhilarated with an adulteress and embrace the breasts of a foreigner? We know that that's what he's going to end up doing. This is where righteous extrapolation comes into play. Man, I wish you was on so I could let you speak to the people and expound on what you're saying, Chief Prince. Just so they can hear what you mean when you say that. But I agree with it. 100%. We're gonna go jump down to 23 real quick. You know what? Let's read down to 23. For the ways of everyone are before the supreme king Yah, and he observes all his paths. His own wrongdoings will trap the wicked, and he will be held by the ropes of his sin. Right? But remember, chapter 1, or was it chapter 2? He said, do not go with the sinners, nor don't consent with them. Don't consent to them. Do not. Understand, when you are a part of a nation, I'm not going to give that away. That's in the book. But I will say this. When you are a part of a nation, sometimes these things that's being said is applying to, I know it's going to be a whole group of people, and the majority of the people, or at least groups within that people, they're going to sin. That's going to be a part of their life. A lot of times when we're reading scripture or reading passages in other writings, you have to read it in context and see what's being addressed. Who's being addressed? Is it multiple? Is it singular? All these things are important. Okay, it's 10:03. I got about 27 minutes. Let's read 23. He will die for lack of instruction, and in the greatness of his foolishness, he will go astray. All right. Now, let's go to 1 Kings. I think it's 1 Kings 11. I think it's 1 Kings 11 off the top of my head. We're going to bring a little context in this. Yes, it is. 1 Kings 11. More context, right? So we saw where he started at. And I think this is excellent. I love the fact, me and Chief Principal and always talk about Ezra, the priest Ezra. And we were grateful for the scribe within Ezra, because he didn't have to show all this stuff. He didn't have to show the wickedness that took place with some of the kings. They're transitioning from righteousness to wickedness, or just wickedness all across the board. But he kept this in this. He kept this within our literature for us to learn from, to grow from, right? So it says, now King Solomon or Shlomo loved many foreign women, along with the daughter of Paro or Pharaoh, Moabite, Ammonite, Edomite, Sidonite, Sidonian, likely, and Hittite women, right? But he just said in chapter 5, verse 20, for why should you, my son, be exhilarated with an adulteress and embrace the breasts of a foreigner? So we have to understand, why am I bringing this out? This isn't to attack Solomon. It's to bring a point out. It's to kind of wake us up when we talk about these topics of sin, when we talk about these topics of perfect or blameless. When we talk about these topics, we got to understand why he's going the direction that he's going in. Why is he saying the things that he is saying? All right? Because he said something totally different in the first few chapters of Proverbs. He wasn't wrong. It says, from the nations of which the Supreme King has said to the sons of Israel, you should not associate with them, nor shall they associate with you. They will certainly turn your heart away to follow their deity. Solomon clung to these in love. All right, give me a second, y'all. I want to bring up it up in my scriptures too. Give me a second. There we go. All right. Okay, so we're going to verse 7. That's what I was trying to get to. It says he had 700 wives who were princesses and 300 concubines, and his wives turned his heart away. For when Solomon was old, his wives turned his heart away to follow other deities, and his heart was not wholly devoted to the Supreme King, his Elohim, as the heart of his father David had been. It's important for us to see that, because all these righteous kings, other kings that was righteous, always was based upon David. So that showed how devoted David was. But let Christianity and anybody else teach you, you know, what he did, which was atrocious. It was horrible, right? How he turned back and continued the way he was with the Supreme King was unmatched. It was only two other kings that had almost a greater approach, and that was Josiah and King Hezekiah. Those two kings. There was none before them or after them, right? That served the Supreme King. It was said by both of them, and it was done in two different ways, but they was still put up against David. So we got to understand who he was. All right. Solomon became a follower of Ashtoreth, the goddess of the Sidonians, and of Milcom, the abhorrent idol of the Ammonites. So Solomon did what was evil in the sight of Yah. So we've been talking about evil earlier. What is evil? What is evil? Following of the customs and deities, right? These things are considered evil, especially if you have knowledge. If you have knowledge, man, that's evil. That's evil. It didn't even say wicked right here. It said evil. All right. And did not follow fully as his father David had done. Then Solomon built a high place for Chemosh, the abhorrent idol of Moab, on the mountain that is east of Jerusalem or Jerusalem, and for Molech. We almost done, you all. The abhorrent idol of the sons of Ammon. He also did the same for all his foreign wives, right? Who burnt incense and sacrificed to their deities. The reason I'm going to these places, because I believe that Christianity and most people that teach this, they're looking for a reason, as I stated earlier, to cause the people to believe that it's impossible to be blameless, to be perfect, to be upright, to be righteous, to build towards being blameless. And they utilized the very person, they manipulated what he said. The very person that did these things, they take his words when he was down and out. That's where we're going to Ecclesiastes, right? He said, all of this is futility. All of this is vanity. Why? Because of what we're about to read, what's about to be said. All right, we're going to stop there. I want you all on your own time to kind of read through the rest of what it's talking about with Shlomo or Solomon. We're going to go ahead and go to Ecclesiastes. And I think I want us to go to chapter 2. But I know I want us to go to chapter 7. If there's any questions, any thoughts, any comments, please put it in the chat. Make sure that you subscribed if you haven't. If you're on TikTok, make sure you come to House of Balance Network on YouTube, because we go through this heavily, you all, and we're trying to provoke thought and change. We want you all to be the best that you can be when you are serving the Supreme King, the creator of all things known and unknown, the one that we call, or you all call, God in the Bible. All right. So we're about to go to Ecclesiastes chapter 2. I'm going to put it up on the screen too for you all that's present. All right. All right. Trying to see what I might just bring us to chapter 7. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. All right. If I have to come back to this another day, I will. It was something in chapter 2 I wanted to bring out. And I don't want to read through this to try to find it. Oh, okay. All right. For who can eat and who can have enjoyment without him? For to a person who is good in his sight, he has given wisdom and knowledge and joy, while to the sinner. You see this, you all? Ecclesiastes 2:26. This isn't where I wanted to go, but I'm going to read this. We'll come back to Ecclesiastes 2 next Monday when we do this again on Monday, because there was a part that I really wanted to bring out. But I want to even show the distinction right here in Ecclesiastes chapter 2. And we're going to go to verse 24. I started 24. We're going to start at 24. Ecclesiastes chapter 24. All right. When you go to Psalms chapter 14, I think this is very interesting. You know that Solomon is a son of David, right? We know that Shlomo is the son of David, the way they operate, the things that they say, right? Solomon brought up blameless. It's probably one of the only times I got to go through the rest of Proverbs again. I don't say that as though I didn't read it. I'm saying I like to really go through and dissect the Hebrew, but that's one of the first places I saw him speaking of being blameless. And the person that talked about it a lot was actually David. He talked about it a lot. There's other places too. But read 24. It says this: there is nothing better for a person than to eat and drink and show himself some good in his trouble. This too I have seen, that it is from the hand of Elohim. That's not the part I'm pointing at, but we're going to keep reading. For who can eat and who can have enjoyment without him? For to a person who is good in his sight, he has given wisdom and knowledge and joy, right? So this is a person who is good in his sight. This reminds me of Psalms 14 because it says, a fool says in his heart, there's no Elohim, right? A fool said that in his heart, there's no Elohim. I'm going off the top of my head, paraphrasing, right? He searched down and he was looking on man and he could not find anyone that was good. You go down a few more verses, it says that fool, right? They were coming against my righteous ones, which means what? It showed a distinction of two different types of people. When you read Ecclesiastes 2:26, it says, for to a person who is good in his sight, he has given wisdom and knowledge and joy, while to the sinner, he has given the task of gathering and collecting so that he may give to one who is good in Elohim's sight. This too is vanity or futility and striving after wind, right? So he's trying to figure all these things out, but he's not really figuring anything out. You know how some of you all say no one is perfect? And a lot of times you're saying it to kind of mask something that you need to improve, that you ain't really trying to improve, something that you're going to do that you know is probably bad, according to what you understand the scriptures to say, or whatever school of thought that you have. You say that. You say no one is perfect. And it makes you feel better about yourself. Most people, right? No one is perfect. You know, I'm okay. I'm gonna be all right. I'm gonna figure it out. That's how we say it. He's trying to figure out all these things that's happening based on the things that he did. He did a lot. He did a lot of great things, but then stuff was stripped away from him. I didn't read it all in 1 Kings 11. I should have kept reading, but if you read the rest of it, you're going to see that these things were stripped away from him, even to the point where he only was left one tribe out of all 12 tribes. One tribe he was able to keep because for his namesake, David's namesake, for his father's namesake. All that was stripped away from him. All the wisdom that he had, all the things that he was doing. You got to go into that mind to understand what he's saying and these soundbite scriptures that we're using. Because if he's saying one thing, but then the scripture is saying throughout the scripture and in the other books, right? The passages, the Hellenistic scriptures, it's telling you that people are perfect and blameless and has done all the commandments and all the ordinances of the Supreme King. You have individuals that you can't even find sin on, then somebody's lying. Somebody's bipolar, or the people that's teaching you are manipulating you and giving you the thought process that they have according to the scripture and not looking at it for what it is. He literally made a distinction right here. He said, for to a person who is good in he has given wisdom and knowledge and joy, while to the sinner, he has given the task of gathering and collecting so that he may give, who? The sinner may give to one who is good in the sight of the Supreme King. That's a distinction. Those are two different individuals. Do not let Christianity teach you that everyone is a sinner. If you're a sinner, you're a sinner. Fine. Improve it and change it. You have the ability. The Supreme King believes that you can. But if you're going to allow that just to be there, like, okay, I don't got to do nothing. This person covers everything for me. When no one in the history of righteousness, men and or woman, will tell you that. If a person tells you that in that particular subject, they are false. Because the scriptures overwhelmingly shows you and tells you that you can. Even the very person that you all deem higher than everybody, when he doesn't call himself that. Let's keep going, though. So I wanted to jump there. We're going to go to Ecclesiastes chapter 7 now. If you supply a cure, they can't make a living off. Exactly. Most people are not going to listen to what I'm saying right now. That's why I took heed to what you had pushed me to do more of, because I've written a few books before, a couple of books before, and you was like, look, put everything down in books. Somebody is going to grab it. It's going to help their lives. Putting stuff on Facebook, sometimes even going live. I think live is better because people can hear you, but people will still ignore. That's why I love what you said. If you supply a cure, they can't make a living off of treatment. Every man or woman that was a messenger of the Supreme King, that was a savior of the people, gave you a cure and told you and showed you that you can and will do better if you decide to be that. If you decide to do that, you're going to be better than them. You take on that authority. Understand the authority that the Supreme King has given you. Move in it. Move in it. But let's go to Ecclesiastes chapter 7. I'm about to close out. I have 9 minutes left. Hopefully I'll get it done in 9 minutes. Ecclesiastes. Oh, I actually had it right here. Wait a minute. Y'all been in 1 Kings 11 the whole time? Nobody told me. Oh my goodness. I'm sorry, y'all. I've been reading and nobody on the that's tuning in said anything to me. Goodness gracious. I hope y'all still followed along. Let me know if you all still followed along. All right. Let's go to Ecclesiastes 7. Let's end this topic. Hopefully, once we go through this topic, it will wake us up to what Solomon was saying. It will wake us up in understanding what he truly meant and how it removes what Christianity has given you. That goes for those in my community as well, even those that are Beni Israel. I hope that this removes the understanding when it comes to sinners. When it comes to what we're going to read in verse 20 of Ecclesiastes chapter 7. I probably could just go right down to that. Let me see really quickly. Yeah, let's go ahead and end it. Let's go down to verse 15. We're not going to read all of it. Let's go ahead and go to 15 so we can end on time. And then I can show you all a couple things that I want to show you once we're done. So please stay to the end. I mean, stay till the song is over. Stay to the end. All right. It says, I have seen everything during my lifetime of futility, of vanity. Well, we know he hasn't seen everything, right? But he says, I have seen everything during my lifetime of vanity. There is a righteous person who perishes in his righteousness, and there is a wicked person who prolongs his life in wickedness. This is a general statement. I believe that, honestly. Do not be excessively righteous and do not be overly wise. Why should you ruin yourself? Do not be excessively wicked. Wait a minute, y'all. Wait a minute. He says, do not be excessively righteous and do not be overly wise. Why should you ruin yourself? This can be looked at as wisdom, and there is wisdom in it. My thing is, I wonder if the Supreme King agrees with this. There is wisdom in this for those that are going to move in wickedness, for those that are not going to be obedient to the Supreme King, for those that are going to fall, for those that are going to speak authoritatively, even like I'm speaking. I better make sure that I'm good 10 years from now. And I'm trying to make sure I surround myself outside of my Isha around people that's going to hold me accountable from this day and beyond, or the days before too, and beyond. I don't know if that was the case for Solomon. I don't know who the elders that he had around. I don't know the people that he had on in the gates and of wisdom when it comes to him, bringing him information, telling him to do. Were they afraid of him? We don't know these things. But what I do know is House of Balance Assembly, what I plan to do, what we plan to do, what those that are part of us plans to do, and I pray any other assembly does this, is to have individuals that are not afraid to talk to you, talk to the leadership, like, you know what? Based off of what we've all grown in when it comes to understanding, we don't think that this is the right move. Or you're moving a certain type of way. We got to be able to take that. Because if we don't, we will end up how Solomon ended up. This is my opinion. I wasn't there to see, but we do know how sometimes how things go with kings. We do know how people are yes men. We do know these things. We know where he started, but we saw what he became. Anytime you start following another deity, anytime you start giving your power, right, away, that says something. But let's stay on the verse, because I think this is very important. He says, do not be excessively righteous. I don't believe that the Supreme King would agree with that based on what we've been taught and what he has commanded us. But that's my opinion. And do not be overly wise. Why should you ruin yourself? I believe the wisdom in what he's saying right now is probably to someone who is not moving a certain way. That's my belief. Why do I say that? Let's go to the next verse. Do not be excessively wicked. How about do not be wicked at all? How about do not be wicked at all? Why would Solomon say this part right here, you all? And do not be foolish. Why should you die before your time? Why would he say that part? You have to understand his mind state. You have to understand what 1 Kings 11 and beyond was talking about. He got everything pulled away from him except one tribe. Stop reading the scriptures as a fairy tale. But let's keep going. Let's see what else he says. Let's see what else he says, you all. Let's keep reading. It is good that you grasp one thing while not letting go of the other. For one who fears Elohim comes out with both of them. Wisdom strengthens a wise person more than 10 rulers who are in a city. Yep. Indeed, there is not a righteous person on earth who always does good and does not sin. This right here is one of the scriptures that Christianity uses ridiculously. And this is one of the scriptures that those in my community uses ridiculously without the context. Without the context, without the state of mind, or bringing out the state of mind that he was in. He also said this when he first started too. But with that, it was context with that. I put that in the book. We ain't going to have time to go over that now. But we're going to keep reading, and we're going to see what else we can pull after this statement. Pay attention. Because in the beginning of this, or chapter 2, I believe it was, he said he made a distinction between the good, and he made a distinction between the sinner. Keep that in mind. Let's keep reading. Let's go down to 23. It says, I tested all this wisdom and I said, I will be wise, but wisdom was far from me. He's talking about himself, y'all. Keep that in mind right now. I tested all this wisdom and I said, I will be wise, but wisdom was far from me. What has been is remote and very mysterious. Who can discover it? Right? The Supreme King has told us who can discover it. He told us who can discover it in Proverbs. Why is he saying it different things now? What is the context? Why is he speaking like this? Man, no one is perfect. That's what we say today. If you read verse 20 the same way that we say no one is perfect today, and how we utilize it, how most people use it to cover up them just wanting to do crazy stuff or a scapegoat to what they may do or any mess ups that happen, we say it. That's the same way that he said verse 20. That is the same way that Solomon said verse 20. There's no man on earth that does not sin. You got to understand why he's saying that. But let's keep going. Let's see what the scripture is going to say. If I'm on to something, okay? Let me make sure we could keep reading 25. I directed my mind to know and to investigate and to seek wisdom and an explanation and to know the evil of foolishness and the foolishness of insanity. Watch this. And I discovered as more bitter than death the woman whose heart is snares and nets, whose hands are chains. That's what he discovered. Who is he talking about? What is he talking about? What was he a part of? Then it says, one who is pleasing to Elohim will escape from her. One who is pleasing. How do you become pleasing to the Supreme King Yah? By being obedient, by following the very things that we read in Proverbs that Solomon said in the beginning. Oh, son, right? Take this wisdom, sound wisdom. Take this instruction and operate in sound wisdom. That's what he said in Proverbs 1. Proverbs 2, he said, do not go with the sinners. and do not consent with them. Keep my commandments, the commandments that was given. Make sure how you move, your reputation, it grows in men and in the Most High. He got that from how Samuel moved. That is how one who is pleasing to Elohim will escape who? Her, the foreigners that he told his sons not to be on the breasts of the foreigners, but he did it. And then what does it say next? But the sinner will be captured by her. The sinner will be captured by her. Now, all of this is making sense. Oh, man. He says Solomon may have been first recorded case of existential, I cannot say the word, existential disillusionment. Ooh, you and your big words, Steve Preston. I agree with that 100%. But check what he's saying, though. I want everyone to see this. I don't know. I'm sure someone brought it out. I'm pretty sure. But if many people were bringing this out, we have an understanding of what's happening to him. You got to understand, not you, you understand. He was a king of an entire nation. And it was removed when he started following Ashtaroth and started following all these different deities with the foreign wives. He was living his best life, as people say today, doing whatever, going into his older age too. I'm not talking bad about Solomon. That is not what I'm doing. But I am using him to show something. I'm using him to show the lack of context that Christianity has gave most people when it comes to quoting Ecclesiastes 7 and 20. They don't go all the way down to verse 26. They don't go all the way to chapter 2 when it has a distinction between that which is a sinner and that who is not. They don't go back to Proverbs when it says that the blameless will be in the land. They don't go back to Proverbs when it says, hey, do not deal with sinners and don't consent with them. They only say, aha, to the fact that this man who was the wisest man, who everybody in the world deemed him as such, as the scriptures deems him as such. If the wisest man couldn't do this, this means if he's saying in verse 20, chapter 7, that there's no man on earth that does not sin, then this means this is a general statement to everybody. No. Because when you get to 26, he started, not even 26, when you start at 24, he starts telling you, right? Or 23, I tested all this wisdom. All of this is together. It's not different chapters. This is all together. That is literally 6 verses before. And he says, and I discovered as more bitter than death, the woman whose heart is snares and nets, whose hands are chains. One who is pleasing to Elohim will escape from her, but the sinner will be captured by her. It's a distinction again. And honestly, he's talking about himself. Whoa, you calling him a sinner? No, the scripture called him evil for what he did. You could be a sinner and not be a sinner anymore. It's all up to you. It's up to how you move. It's up to your belief. It's up to your behavior. And if I'm wrong, then you have to go to every individual in our history of the scripture that was called perfect and blameless, that was recorded as moving blameless, that was recorded where there was no sin. There is a reason why in the Hellenistic scriptures that there were people that were called it too, that is not talked about in most Christianity or in our community. And the very individual that is put in a place where he says you will be greater says the same thing I'm saying. Why? Why don't we recognize that? Why don't we believe it? because we don't believe in the saviors or the messages of the Supreme King, let alone the Supreme King himself. Or, let me be fair, our maturity has not grown in that area, but we got to fight and we got to build to pass that lack of maturity, overcome that lack of maturity and get there. But you know what? We are scared. We are afraid. We have been given this fear. But Solomon was saying, don't allow none of this stuff to don't fear at all. The only thing you should fear, the only person, the only in general is the Supreme King Yah. That is who we're supposed to be fearing. That is who we're supposed to be moving for. And every person that the Supreme King, well, most people that he told to come before him, what did he say? Come before me blameless. Perfect. The church fathers, Christianity, is trying to show you and move you in a way, put you in a way of mediocrity. I'm not coming at the teachers. I'm not coming at the leaders. It's not them I'm coming at. And honestly, I can care less about how they feel when I say this particular part. I am trying to encourage and strengthen. We are trying to, let me say that, let me make that clear. House of Balanced Assembly in general is trying to encourage and combat the many assemblies and congregations that is teaching and fueling the dysfunction within our community. That we can't do these things, that it is impossible. They're fueling this. They are creating what we see today, the many failures. I was trying my best to finish editing these other two books. A Verse Without Context. I'm trying to remember the title. A Verse Without Context, and creates, I forgot the subtitle of the doctrine, create false doctrines. I have another book that may be done editing before we make it to Great Awakening International, which is Men versus Women War. And I talk about these things in the book. I don't even go through scripture in that book. This is for everybody, so-called black and man and woman, men versus women war. And that same thing that they did to us that I talk about in that book is the same thing they're doing to us with this scripture. They are removing the fact that the Supreme King has told us that we can be this. It's almost begging you to do it. Let me read this, and then we're going to get ready to close out. Right. Many are afraid to be mature because it leads to scriptural accountability and responsibility. Yes. 100%. 100%. Total Rabah for that. All right, you all. We have went 10 minutes over the time. I'm just going to show you all a couple of things really quickly, and then we're going to close out. It's about to be 11 o'clock. I really want to make this 9 to 10 on Mondays and Wednesday. I don't want to go over an hour. I did that today on purpose because I was supposed to stop at chapter 5, but I felt I needed to address and show the transition that Solomon had and how he kind of went opposite of what he was teaching his sons. And we can learn from that. That's the purpose of why we have this literature. That's the purpose, for us to learn from it and to see what he did. Okay, are we doing it today? Are we able to overcome it today? Yes. All right. What I want to do really quickly is I want to show you all this. For those that are interested in learning more, have questions, wanting to see our stance on things, be a little more intimate with us, for lack of a better word, I want you all should be able to see this soon. So it's an app called Band, and we have a group in Band. You create different groups, and this is called Threshold. All right, so I'm gonna read it for you all. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit. I'll do it almost. Okay, you all should be able to see that. You all should be able to see that. All right, welcome to the House of Balance. Okay, the Threshold. Shalom and welcome. This space exists for those who are interested in the House of Balance, Obed Mazan Assembly, and desire to observe, learn, and discern before making any form of covenantal commitment. The Threshold is a place of clarity, not pressure. Here you are invited to learn our vision and way of life, understand our values, expectations, and order, and sincere questions, and observe how we function as a household and assembly, right? So on here, it's almost like this is like a Facebook in a sense, right? We have our calendars, we have different events, things like that, polls and things like that we're going to be putting in here. And we have a few people that are already a part of this. I got to zoom out for you all to be able to see a little bit. All right. So this is where you will be able to, let me close this out. It'll be more intimate. We have let me pull this up as well. So the link, if anyone's interested in the link, I will put it on here in just a bit, or you can write this down, ban.us/@threshold. Let me see if I got this in here as I pull this other thing up. I may have it. All right. Any of you all that's interested, just make sure you send us a message and I'll give you the link, get you the link so that you can join. All right. It's free to get on this app. Again, this is just for those that's interested in us. All right. Let me pull this off right now. The next thing I'm going to show you all. All right. Hopefully you all can see this as well. All right. So we have a House of Balance Assembly page on Facebook. And on this page, we put everything out there for those that are not really trying to be intimate with us in a sense of really growing with the potential of becoming a part of the assembly, but we're still putting these things out to so people could get access to the teachings, certain announcements, events that we may have, resources that comes from us. We still want to make sure that's put out for the people that may not even be a part of us. You may like music that we do. Me and my Ishai have music. Working on our second album right now. Our first album will be on all streaming platforms in a couple weeks. Our single for the first album is actually out right now on all platforms. I Just Want to Give. So we use that Facebook page for that purpose. You all can go on Facebook and search out House of Balance Assembly and like our page. All right. I'm going to go ahead and post this for you all on any of the platforms that you may be following us on. I'll also put it here on YouTube, probably when we get done. And there's one more thing I want to show you all. For those that's truly into books, we have a few authors that we associate with, that we're in covenant with, and ourselves as well. We, like I told you earlier when we first started, we are releasing this month alone about 4 books. And next month we should be releasing probably around the same. So we're going to be pumping out a lot of books. We already have quite a few books already. You could go to our website, house-of-balance.org, and you can get an idea of some of the books that we actually have for you all available today. This is our book club group. All right. On Facebook, if you type in House of Balance Book Club, you will be able to get access of these things. We're going to have, it's a book club, so we'll be able to go through the books together. You know, this particular group is for us to bring forth information and build and grow through other people's books, right? We are people of scribes. So when you think of the Tanakh, for those that's not familiar, the Tanakh is an acronym, right? So when people say the Torah and Tanakh, you don't have to say that. It's people that speak Hebrew to actually say that, and I don't understand why, but you don't have to say Torah and Tanakh. Tanakh embodies it. So the T, the acronym T, N, and K, Torah is the T. Nebi'im is the prophets. And Ketubim is the writings. Ecclesiastes, Proverbs, right? Those are writings. Sirach, in the time going into the Greek exilic periods, right? You have righteous men and women who brings forth books, literature to teach the people how to combat what they're a part of, what customs they're dealing with, right? What exilic moment they're in, how to overcome it by using the principles of the Torah, right? And the prophets. These are what the scribes and the writings that they produce are for. And we have this in 2026. We are a people that write books. We have to do it, especially those of us that are righteous, those of us that may be blameless to the Supreme King. Who knows? Those of us who are these individuals that have the skills to do it, put your books out. Join this club, House of Balance Book Club on Facebook. That is a group. So join both the House of Balance Assembly Facebook page and House of Balance Book Club. Okay. On those, that's not a commitment to even the potential of being a part of House of Balance Assembly and getting in covenant with us. You don't have to do that if you like that page or join it. If you are interested, once again, let us know and be a part of this band app. This is what we use. And even for those that become a part of the assembly, this is what we're going to be using. If you're in the state of South Carolina, we're in Columbia, South Carolina. Those that's interested, contact us. Or if you are outside of this state, that is what we're going to be operating within when it comes to our assembly. That is going to be the best way that we deal with all type of matters, literature, events, all of these things, right? All of the files that's dealing with certain doctrines that we stand on is going to be in there for the assembly, not the threshold. All right. So without further ado, may the Most High bless and guard each and every one of you that's tuning in. I'm going to play this video and then we're going to close out. If you are new to us, you'll be able to hear it was the song of the year called My People Rising. I'll be playing that at the end after I show you this video. I think that's it. My Isha, she's upstairs, so probably can't tell me if I'm missing anything, but I think I showed you all enough. So let's get ready to close out. If nobody is perfect, then why are children taught to strive for excellence? Why do we expect honesty from our friends, faithfulness from our spouses, integrity from our leaders? Why do we desire people to keep their word? And if nobody can be perfect, why do we get upset when they aren't? Here's another question. What if the problem isn't scripture? What if the problem is the definition we've been given? What if one of the most repeated phrases in modern Christianity has become one of the greatest obstacles to accountability, growth, and transformation? What if we accepted something that sounds spiritual, but was never intended to be understood the way we've been taught? Maybe the real question isn't, is anyone perfect? Maybe the real question is, what does perfect actually mean?
I see a dream, that dream is green, and I don't mean material things. Come to the land, child, woman, and man, as we take up for what we stand. Better days and better nights, as we stand and unite. We're one and the same. Why is it so hard not to point and to blame? Better she'd get our houses in order and we'll see the peace. There are steps that we must take if we wanna see.
I see my people rising, no more stopping us. Couple billion acres across America, us. The peace rose for the sake of us.
The sake of us, the
I
sake
see
of us.
my people rising, no more stopping us. Couple billion acres across America, us. The peace rose for the sake of us. No more failing, telling, being beneath. What a beautiful moment, and a sight I can't wait to see. Even if I miss it, at least I wasn't part of the mission. Changing lives of men, women, and children. All glory goes to He that causes us all to be. Oh, and if they're thinking we can, show them that just as long as we stand, a monument. We the people can't be broken as long as we stay focused. I see my people rising, no more stopping us. Couple billion acres across America, us. The peace rose for the sake of us. For the sake of us. I see my people rising, no more stopping us. Couple billion acres across America, us. The peace rose for the sake of us. I see my people rising.